Hi guys, welcome back to another Counterside video. So the second boss this week is Nervier, and after trying quite a few rounds attempting to figure out what's different this time, apparently not much. So when you're ready, grab a coffee, sit back, relax, and let's go. The main difference this time around is that the Academy Student Council units all have a buff, with an increase of 100% attack and 50% HP and skill haste. And if you are like me who had no clue who they are basically the units that have the Student Council skin, which you can still buy to this day in the shop. These units are Linxian, Eugene, Irie, Rosa, Kyle, and Xiaoyun. Why do I feel like they're trying to milk my money? Okay, I am absolutely just kidding you. There's actually no Academy Student Council units right now because they're gonna be the Edith twins and Yanxing, which is not even in the game right now. So technically speaking, this week's buff is just completely useless. We just play it as it is. Anyway, I'm just gonna put this out right now. The conclusion of the fight is incredibly straightforward. Nervier is a DPS check fight. Again. In case you do not remember her boss mechanics, you can check it out right here. I'll leave the card over here. There's no significant points of interest in this boss fight that requires precise timing like moderator type B, so the strategy this time is quite easily executable. Chances are your only restriction would be the availability of these units that are actually best in slot, though I use this term best in slot very loosely. You want to have 2 or 3 main DPS and the rest of the team are there for supporting purposes. For this fight, the best DPS units are Edel, which deals minor AoE damage on her basic attack and spawns adds. Rosaria is almost completely uninterrupted throughout the entire fight, being a flying unit. Kyle generates shields that can make your tank's life easier and does decent damage due to the buff. Gaiyun, consistent stunts and decent damage, and Xiaolin, high damage output. Among the 5, pick any to your liking and you can just slap it onto your team. In this video, I'll be using Edel, Kyle, Rosaria, and Xiaolin to show you their final DPS output at the end of the fight. You can actually replace Xiaolin with Maria Antonov if you have her as well. As for the remaining slots in the team, you can fill them out with the following support units. You should always try to bring Xinjia, Xiaoyun, and Harim as the staple support units. The final 2 slots can be filled up based on what your team is experiencing when you test it. If your team is unable to leave the backline protected throughout the entire fight, put more tanky units like Irie Alfred, the SR rank Hild, Liyumi, or Serapel. If your team can last till the fight times out before the boss dies, you'll want to put in another DPS unit or a buffer to improve your overall DPS. If you have Awakened Yuna, you can also use her here as she has some form of self-sustain and does decent amount of AoE damage. If you manage to beat your previous high score, do give this video a like and consider subscribing to the channel for more content. Moving on to the strategy, the objective this time is to let your DPS do as much damage as they can as early as possible while staying alive. The best way to do it is to rely on Edel's summon adds, Kyle's shields, and Xinjia's copies. Here is how I deployed them. In the very beginning, drop Edel, Rosaria, and Kyle. After that, I drop Awakened Yuna next for security purposes. You can actually substitute her for another front line like Irie, Hild, Yumi, or even Serapel if you're not able to keep your backline safe. Next, you can choose to drop either Young Harim or Xinjia, and then followed up by Xiaolin and Xiaoyun for more DPS. Once you got your team all on the field, what you want to do next according to priority is redeploy any dead front lines, redeploy Rosaria for quicker cooldown for skill spamming, and redeploy Xiaoyun for attack buffs. Finally, let's talk about gear recommendation. Theoretically speaking, you can actually still score above 7k without the help of CDR gears. However, it is highly recommended to have at least a basic CDR set on Kyle for more frequent shields. If you have more CDR sets, you should put them on Rosaria and Awakened Yuna as well. Otherwise, other attack sets will work just as fine for your DPS units. Hi guys, this is Simon from the future coming back to the past to correct one of his mistakes. So in the past, Simon didn't really mention what ship that you should use for this boss, didn't he? Well, the recommended ship of course will always be Enterprise. You can also use Kami Izumi, but that one will probably work better in Moderator Type B, but in the end, it's completely up to you. As for operators, I did not include them in the guide is because I assume that most people have not actually decided on which one to get. They probably haven't been able to level up their operators yet to really make a significant difference. So if you have Lena, that will be best. But if you don't have it, you can probably just ignore it. For a more practical view of my run, I will include the entire footage at the end of the video in case you want to know the exact timing of when I deployed my team. And that's it for the guide. Overall, Nervier's fight isn't too different from her previous run. The MVP DPS unit will still be Rosaria and Edel, as one has a kit that focuses on dealing damage and another leaves adds that can tank hits to protect the backline. So best of luck on your attempts. Like always, if you have any questions at all or you can't seem to get a higher score yourself, feel free to leave it in the comment section below and I will do my best to help you break that barrier. And here is a successful run for your reference. Enjoy!
전 승무원 신속히 대피하라.